When you think of the law, you probably imagine the text of the bills that Congress passed. That's the Schoolhouse Rock, I'm just a bill, 10,000-foot version of the law. It's not wrong, but it is woefully incomplete. The law is also court records. Every time a judge decides a case, it becomes precedent. If all you know about the law is what Congress wrote and not how the judges that came afterward interpreted the law, then you don't know the law. Reading the law won't tell you whether you broke it or whether someone else did when they harmed you. You also need to be able to consult the relevant case law. In a just world, we'd all have access to all the case law. It's not the law unless everyone can read it. That's a principle that goes back to the Magna Carta, to the Charter of the Forest, to the 10 fucking commandments. The law isn't the law unless the law is public. The law that Congress made isn't the law without the court records that flow from it. Unless those court records are available, then the law isn't the law. The law just isn't the law. You can't get at the case law without paying for it. Back in 1998, the U.S. federal courts set up a server to host court documents called Pacer. It was 1998, so Pacer was pretty primitive, just a giant folder full of PDFs. You couldn't search those PDFs, and downloading them came at a high price, 7 cents per page. How could the courts justify charging you to read the law? Congress told them they could. They authorized the Judicial Conference of the USA to run Pacer on a break-even basis, a giant drive full of PDFs connected to a web server was reasonably expensive back in 1998. But giving the world access to a folder full of PDFs only got cheaper every year after that, and Pacer only got more expensive. By 2012, Pacer cost 10 cents per page to access. That's not much if you're a partner at a white shoe law firm billing $1,500 per hour. But if you're a working class stiff trying to figure out whether your deadbeat ex owes you alimony, or whether your scumbag boss illegally dismissed you, or whether you should pay a settlement to the jerk who says you rear-ended him, 10 cents a page can really add up. Especially if you're a working class stiff who doesn't know what you're looking for and spends a lot of time doubling back over your own trail. The court system makes hundreds of millions of dollars in profit off Pacer, and they justify it by saying that the excess goes to pay for stuff like big TV screens in courtrooms. I don't know whether courtrooms need TV screens. Maybe they do. But those TV screens shouldn't be subsidized by a break-even program that stands between everyone in America and the laws they are supposed to obey. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Back in 2009, a group of civic-minded geeks created Recap, which is Pacer backward in every way. Recap is a browser plugin that notices every time you download a page from Pacer and submits it to an open archive that anyone can access for free. If Recap notices that the PDF you're trying to download from Pacer is already in the Recap archive, it saves you the 10 cents per page and sends you the free copy. Recap exists because the law belongs to all of us. U.S. law, like all works created by the U.S. government, is in the public domain. It has no copyright. That's where the thumb drive core comes in. In 2007, the Pacer people tried to mollify their critics by giving 17 public libraries free access to Pacer, and the thumb drive core was born. These volunteers visited these libraries with thumb drives and downloaded as many important Pacer docs as they could, then bulk uploaded them to Recap. One thumb drive corpsman was Aaron Swartz, a brilliant kid who helped invent the tech behind podcasts when he was 12 years old and went on to co-found Reddit. Swartz believed in liberating government docs, and he was a skilled programmer, so he wrote some code to speed up the retrieval of Pacer docs from his local library. He pulled down 2.7 million documents, totaling 20 million pages, about $2 million worth of legal documents that he made free. The FBI and a local prosecutor named Steve Heyman tried to shake Swartz down for the caper, but Swartz was a smart kid, and he knew a bunch of smart lawyers, and they sent him packing. And recap, got 2.7 million documents. Of course, hell hath no fury like a Fed scorned, and a couple of years later, Heyman threw the book at Swartz when he was caught downloading a bunch of scientific articles from MIT's network. Swartz had permission to access these articles, but he violated MIT's terms of service by using another little computer program to download them, and according to Heyman, that was a felony violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Actually, Heyman charged Swartz with 13 felonies and threatened him with 35 years in prison. Swartz went back to his good lawyers, but the feds dragged out the proceedings until Swartz was out of money and had tapped everyone he could. Facing prison, Swartz hanged himself. He was 26. That law they tried to pin on Swartz, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, was signed by Ronald Reagan in a panic in 1986 after he watched the movie War Games, where a young Matthew Broderick nearly starts World War III by hacking into a secret government computer. True story. Well, not War Games, that was fiction. But the part where Ronald Reagan used it to justify signing a law that could turn a terms of service violation into a felony, that part's true.